Hello and welcome to Commodity Champions. I'm Manisha Gupta. Well, the temperatures are on the rise and several parts of India are dealing with heat wave conditions. However, these harsh conditions bode well with beverage and dairy companies as they bring in a spike in sales of beverages, curd, buttermilk and ice creams. The previous summer season was rather tepid because of unexpected rains disrupted demand. However, this time around, beverage and dairy firms are expecting higher demand and double-digit growth in sales. Joining me now to discuss this and more is Amul's Managing Director, Jayen Mehta. Mr. Mehta, hi, thank you so much for joining us. And India has been witnessing a heat wave across states, and there have also been unprecedented rains in some part of the country. How are you looking at this extreme weather as a company, and what has the rising temperatures meant for ice cream sales?
It's been a pretty good summer season and, of course, a bumper season for all the products related to summer, be it ice creams or even our beverages, the buttermilk, lassi, curd, and so on. So it's been good growth as what we had anticipated when we spoke in the beginning of the year. And the last 2-3 months have been very good, and we are looking at a very, very good growth through the entire season this year.
So any growth numbers you would want to share on what is the number that you're looking in across India, pan-India?
Growth has been very good in the range of about actually more than 30%. There are a few markets who will be doing exceedingly well, starting with Uttar Pradesh, which is growing at the rate about 45-50%. East India has been doing very good for us. I'm talking about the ice cream numbers, more than 40%. Even South India is 35% plus, same as Maharashtra. So all major markets doing quite well, and that's why we've been growing as per what the expectations were and the plans that we had made in the beginning of the year.
Mr. Mehta, also the onset of summer also comes with its own set of challenges such as rise in input cost, electricity or availability of food for cattle. Have you seen these input costs increase?
So far, so good. I think we have not had major issues related to any of the points you mentioned. The last year monsoon was pretty okay as far as Gujarat is concerned. And in Gujarat also, now we are growing at double digit as far as the procurement is concerned. And the total procurement of Amul continues to be in double digits, about 18% more than last year. So on the whole, milk procurement scenario is also very good. The commodity positions is also very good. And obviously, when we have to cater to this huge demand, there is enough and more of stocks available with us and also in the entire country. So it augurs well for both the farmers and the consumers.
I want to quickly jump also to cocoa because the prices have been quite volatile. We've seen an all-time high of 12,000. It's trading at 8,000 right now. As a company, how are you dealing with this price rise? And what kind of contracts are you doing when it comes to cocoa?
Yes, you are right. See, it has to soften because at that price, the demand, of course, will not be there. And once the market gets into the hands of the speculators, you know how the reality is as in terms of production versus how the market looks at it. So I'm happy that they are softening a bit. As far as we are concerned, our cocoa largely sourced from a cooperative in South India called Camco. So it has translated into an increase in cost for us for sure, but actually it's going in the hands of the farmers for sure. But we do hope that the prices come to a realistic level. I mean, you can't have a 4 or 5 times increase in the prices of the cocoa bean products like the cocoa butter and cocoa powder and so on. So we are at the moment taking a little bit of it. As far as ice cream is concerned, we were constrained to pass it on in form of increase in consumer price as far as the chocolate bars are concerned. But I'm sure in a matter of couple of months, and as I mentioned earlier, the Diwali season should be pretty normal, is what we are guessing.
All right. And that's another important season to come in. You also have forayed into international markets as a manufacturer, apart from being a distributor and an exporter. With US now, is a market that you are in right now. Have the initial numbers started to come in, and are there plans for any more countries?
Yes, the launch of Amul milk is happening across the entire US. And I hope the product response has been very good so far. So we do hope that the efforts of bringing in fresh milk products, be it starting with Amul Gold, Shakti Taza, different types of milk that we have in India, in the US, along with that, the dahi, the buttermilk, paneer, and the range of fresh products, lassi, etc., will be made available soon to the Indian diaspora there. And we are also sponsoring the US cricket team. So it adds up to the excitement in the US market as far as the brand Amul is concerned.
I'm sure. It also is usually said that when it's election year, you see stronger food consumption, and this time it's come in the peak summer demand season. Has that coincided with the demand too?
Yes, of course, because election is a national phenomenon, both urban, rural, and all. So, as I mentioned earlier, our rural penetration has increased dramatically. So, we are getting benefit of the increased demand and the consumption in the rural markets as much as the urban markets. Obviously, the summer products like the buttermilk, the lassi, dahi, etc., are getting a very, very good traction, as well like with other products also, be it milk powders in smaller packs or ice creams and the rest of the stuff. So yes, we are really benefiting out of the overall growth in the demand in the market, partly due to elections, but overall due to the increased consumption for a normal summer year this year.
Mr. Mehta, also, how is the competition heating up as well in this heat wave with the elections going on as well? I mean, there are more and more participants coming in for this market. How has that added for the season? Are you adding any more products, newer variants for this time?
The market share data, as per the independent market research reports, we continue to track month on month, and there's been a healthy growth in all the product categories that we have. But having said that, competition is intrinsic to our business, and we welcome competition because that helps in expanding the market and the category. We've been driving the investments as far as the Amul expansion forays are concerned, adding more plants like ice cream. I mentioned we had 19 plants last year. Today, 25 dairy plants manufacture ice cream. And same in case of cheese, we've added new facilities, expanding capacity by as high as 55%. Most of the product categories undergoing rapid expansion because we know that if, as and how the Indian market expands, Amul has to be leading from the front, both in terms of procurement, in terms of processing, and in terms of marketing. So investments happening at the right products, at the right places across the country. And obviously, we are in the process of getting the highest growth in the sales as well as market share.
Okay, and with the first quarter now done and the second one is on, what is the roadmap ahead in sense of new production launches, also in sense of turnover numbers that you've been talking about for some time now?
So by and large, the pillars on which we have planned to grow are being strengthened, and they're growing in the right direction. The foray into fresh products and the expansion in the fresh product markets is happening in a very big way with our launch in Odisha markets and expansion into several other markets. So that's one strong business that we have, fresh products that's been growing very well. The expansion in the core products, be it butter, be it cheese, be it milk powders, be it ice cream, also happening in a very big way. The newer categories which will drive the future growth, protein. The expansion in the portfolio is happening in a very big way, and our D2C foray has been very, very successful, and that's how we've been able to grow the market and actually know every single customer of our entire protein range of products. Organics is another pillar which has been growing very well. We've been expanding our range of products into in this space, adding more plants, adding more products, launching even masalas. We just recently launched ginger powder, which is also along with that we'll be launching many other spices also in the organic space. So which means customers will get food without chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and we'll grow that market also. Probiotics is another category which is doing very well. We converted all our buttermilk, which we sell at 30 rupees a liter and has volumes are about 30 lakh liters a day, into probiotics without charging a single rupee to the customer. And that business has been growing by as high as 40% this year. So the foundation is in place, and the plans of growing each of these categories into making Amul organization which is resilient to the future and cashing on to the opportunities which come are all being done in a very active manner. And also the international forays, our joint venture in Sri Lanka is progressing very well. We are looking at expanding in Africa, at Kenya, on the similar lines in which we work on the dairy development through the Amul model. And the brand expansion in the international markets also happening as per what the plans which we have made. So it's export of the products, export of the brand, and the model, both happening simultaneously, which gives a very unique dimension to how the cooperative model of India can benefit to the world.
Well, clearly that, but you also mentioned protein, organic and probiotic, and the health fad in India really seems to be picking up quite strongly. Apart from the products that you're putting in, what is new that can be anticipated? Because various other companies are now doing this. So how is Amul clearly leveraging on this one?
We are part of this conversation, guiding the consumers on what's good. It's because milk is a superfood, and the composition of milk helps us play all these aspects which you rightly mentioned here. And consumers, if they start looking at the labels, the clean label products are only dairy products. And that's where Amul comes in, our range of products come in, and the goodness of fat that we have, the protein that we have, the lactose that we have, all the calcium that we have, the minerals that we have in milk become very, very important. And that adds to overall nutrition for the country, immunity for all our citizens, and of course, the protein, which is a growth booster, right from kids to the senior citizens. So that's where we've also been driving the conversations and the change in the habit and attitudes of the customers, and being a part of their daily food items, every part of the meal.
Fair point. That, Mr. Mehta, thank you so much for joining us. So clearly very strong numbers coming in as far as ice creams are concerned, but various other products and international forays is something that we clearly will keep an eye on as far as Amul goes. Thank you for your time. Well, with that, we're heading into a short break, but coming up, we discuss the shoot up in ice cream sales and other summer products with the Managing Director of Mother Dairy, Manish Bandlish. Remember, it's also their 50th year, and we will discuss all of that with Manish on the other side. Welcome back, and you're watching Commodity Champions. Summer isn't going away anytime soon, and we continue to discuss its impact on sale of dairy companies. I am now joined by Manish Bandlish. He's Managing Director at Mother Dairy. Fruits, vegetables, ice cream, dairy, milk. Manish, there is just so much to discuss with you. But I'll congratulate you, first of all, on 50 years of Mother Dairy. How has the journey been?
I think it's very, very eventful for the last 50 years. All those colleagues of ours who have contributed to building this organization, I think they have done a damn good job, I would say. So we are really, having that 50th year is really helping us, take it forward even further.
Yeah. Manish, coming to the summer season then, and this promises to be a big one as compared to the previous one. So with the kind of numbers that you would have in hand now, what is the kind of percentage increase that you have seen in sales?
I think the summer has been really good for, I think, most of the industry. While in North, it has built up over April, but now we see a severe summer. And I think most of the categories that we deal with are showing very, very promising growths, upwards of 30–40% in many cases. So some of the markets like Bombay, I'm in Bombay, so I was reviewing with the team, they're growing at 50% plus in many categories.
Okay.
So it all depends on how you are able to service the market. The demand is definitely there.
So what really seems to be working in the market right now? One, of course, is the season. Two, is it the variance? Three, is it the price point? Four, with the kind of competition that we have in the market with regional players, national players, there are imported ice creams as well. So how are you dealing with all of these points?
If you're asking specifically to ice cream, then innovation is the key, I would say. Besides, servicing the market, being available to near the consumer, being able to, give a quality product to the consumer. All these things, combined together really make your market share where it is today. And I think we do a good job around it. Every year we launch at least 15–20 different new variants on ice cream. We phase out some of the old ones and then bring the new ones. It really helps to engage a customer on a year-to-year basis.
Manish, a kulfi does well, and then some artisanal new product also does well. So I'm assuming it must be really difficult to keep that balance in.
It is difficult, but at the same time, when we look at Mother Dairy products, I think they are the best. And we try to bring Indian flavors into the market as far as possible. So when we look at a kulfi that we produce, so we come out with a tila kulfi, with a stick. I think our team went around the city of Delhi went to those thelas in the market and actually brought samples, and we have tried to replicate that taste, because people want to consume that taste. A mother dairy doesn't want to create a new flavor, at least on a traditional product like that. Similarly, when you look at our Mishti Doi, for example, it is exactly like what it is in the market.
Yes. I've had people come and swear by it, your Mishti Dahi and your buttermilk for that matter. You were telling us in break that vanilla is a flavor that continues to do quite well for you. It is a flavor that sells the max as well after maybe chocolate is second there. But how have you seen the flavors in the market evolve?
I think people are looking at a lot of innovation. People are looking at any organization to give them some exciting new products. So when we look at our new launches, for example, it's a combination of Indian flavors and also coupled with some international exciting flavors. So I think we do a combination of both. So there is a market for youngsters who want something very, very exciting. So we'll give a new international flavor. Some traditional people want to continue with this same pista kulfi and all that. So we definitely want to give them the right product. So it's a combination of both that we do.
I also want to understand the industry perspective of this now. I do understand that there are investments, there are input costs. Summer also brings with it its own concerns into the market. And then you have done some expansions as well and more variants, as you said. So how has the investment, the cost of production gone in, and how have the sales been?
See, the cost of production, we keep a close watch of it, because dairy as an industry is is not really a profit-making purpose for our kind of an organization. We, being a subsidiary of a National Dairy Development Board, our purpose is very clear: service the farmer, give them the best price for their produce, and to the consumer, quality product at a low price. So these are conflicting objectives in a way. So from that perspective, we have to be very, on a tightrope in terms of keeping costs really, really low. And hence, whatever we do, we try to maintain that cost. And whatever we do in terms of product, we try to get the best of the product to our consumers. So yes, we keep a track of that on a daily basis. And milk prices this year have been stable, at least for the last almost a year now. So we are happy that at least from that perspective, we are not under pressure.
Manish, and it's not just dairy that you do. You have a very strong brand in sense of Safal. You also do vegetable oil. You are into spices. You are into various things. So what is the portfolio looking like right now, and what is the next step?
See, this year we closed our organization's turnover above 15,000 crores. And that itself is a good milestone to have in the 50th year. So we have a combination of three broad brands. One, dairy, of course. Then we have Safal, which is into fruits and vegetables. And the third is Dhara, which is into edible oils. So all the three businesses are doing fairly well for us. Safal, we have very strong plans. We have taken very aggressive numbers on the frozen part of it. I think Safal Peas is an iconic brand. And we are extending that brand into various other categories, ready-to-eat categories in frozen. We are expanding our distribution by 2 times in Safal Frozen across India. We are putting up a new plant. Our board has approved a new plant in South, where we'll be producing more and more pulp. We currently export to more than 40 countries, and we want to create more capacity around it. So these are our good plans on Safal. Similarly, Dhara, we are growing double the industry growth rate. We focus on indigenous oils like mustard and Jayen groundnut oil. So that's the purpose. So we will keep on doing that and do it well.
Are you adding some more into kitty right now?
More into?
Into the kitty. Are you adding more into the portfolio right now?
In Safal, for sure. In edible oils, we are expanding geographically.
Okay.
So we are very, very strong in some of the markets. In East, in Bihar, Northeast, we are market leaders in these categories. And we are planning to grab shares in other markets, in like North. For Safal, I just told you, I mean, we are expanding very aggressively.
Talk to us also about the brand loyalty. Do you see that as a concept right now into the market, or do you think people are price sensitive? As you said, people want more innovations as you go ahead. So does it always keep you on your feet then?
It definitely keeps on our feet. People are extremely, extremely price sensitive. When we look at some of the categories, the price points become extremely critical. For example, 10 rupees, 20 rupees. If you try to tinker around with that price point, people just go away from the category. From that perspective, it is extremely sensitive. And we have seen that in many examples in our business as well. But at the same time, loyalty to a brand, and I think it's very, very tough to break, especially in the milk segment. milk, these are high involvement products for a household. Edible oils, for sure. I mean, it's a very high involvement product. So from our perspective, we keep on trying to do a lot of activation with our consumers, give them more and more product categories so they can be with us for the whole day's cycle.
What is the plan 2024 from here on? I mean, what can we expect from Mother Dairies stable this time around? I also want to talk about what is it that you would want to add further here? What is the market that you're looking at right now and the kind of growth, and where do you see it going forward in years to come?
See, when we look at our business, our chairman, Dr. Manisha, is very clear. Unless and until Mother Dairy grows, we cannot really benefit farmers. Because if farmer is going to grow, then the country will grow. So from that perspective, our mandate is very clear from our board that we need to increase our market from NCR North-centric business to a sort of a pan-India in the next 2 or 3 years. So we have already planned our foray into many other markets beyond the current geographies that we are in. For example, we will definitely expand into more into Maharashtra. We're already there. We already have 2 plants in Maharashtra. We'll expand 1 more plant there. Similarly, we'll expand into Calcutta much more than we are doing today. So we have very aggressive plans. This year itself, we plan to grow upwards of 15% on a 15,000 crore business. So which is a good ambition to have. And I think once we do that, our board and our chairman will definitely seek more such growth from us year after year.
I'm sure those are targets for you then coming in. Manish, also, as you said, geographies you're looking to expand into. Are you also looking to increase into capacities from where you are already right now?
Yes, for sure. I mean, our dairy business is capacity-led only. I mean, unless and until you have a production capacity, you cannot really expand into those markets. So definitely, as we are expanding into a new plant in Nagpur. So we have already announced that. We have already acquired the land. Besides that, we are looking at further expansion into dairy space. Those plans are already in place. Once we are ready with, those more into time, then we will be, announcing.
Is it a very competitive business right now?
Absolutely. As I said, almost 80% of our revenue goes back to farmers. Now, when that happens, it is very, very competitive. None of the FMCG companies will work on this model.
I'm sure they won't. I also want to talk about the other products that you have. I mean, I was reading somewhere that you're into pulses and etc. also. Are you looking to add more there, or do you think you will first make this stronger and then perhaps look at any other thing?
Our pulses is a very small part of our segment, and that is part of the
But are you foraying? Are you looking to venture into other things also?
We are not looking at venturing into pulses specifically.
Okay.
But yes, other commodities which are agricultural based, we are definitely exploring that.
Like?
I wouldn't want to preempt that. But at the same time, Safal is a very, very strong brand.
It is.
I mean, it has a lot of credibility. So from that perspective, yes, we are already looking at expansion into other markets beyond India. In Safal, for example, pulp, we will add more commodities once our new plant is there. We'll bring more innovation there. We're already expanding into UAE on our finished product on Safal Dhara. It's already started last year. So I think it's going to be exciting times for us in the coming year.
Thank you so much, Manish, for joining us today, and many congratulations once again on completing 50 years and to the whole foray that you bring to the Indian consumer here, not just dairy, but also Safal as a product and, of course, edible oils. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Commodity Champions, but news and more views continue on the other side. Stay tuned.